Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm Danny Rubin, the founder of Rubin. We provide online resources for employability skills. We have a great guest today, Miss Lauren Taylor
Hi
from Bay
guys.
Barber Company, and talking about running a barbershop and working in hairstyling industry and running her own business. So we're going to dive into all of that. So Lauren, hang tight for just a few minutes. We're going to do a little housekeeping, and then we're going to jump into the conversation with you. But just stay right here. Okay. We have Alexis and Chris from the Rubin team as well, hanging out for the conversation. And what I'd like to start with is something that we mentioned on our last webinar. Who was with us for our first session on September, whatever that day that was, 2 weeks ago? We had a great webinar, a dream job webinar, and we have another great one today. And I want to share with the group what I shared 2 weeks ago, although we've actually updated what we can share in advance of a big launch that we're having tomorrow. So you're getting kind of a sneak peek of something we're going to put out there to our whole community on Wednesday, the 27th. So let me start by explaining that we have developed a new tool called Propel, and we're about to tell everybody about it tomorrow. And so you're one of the first to know. And Propel is a tool that helps students with their email etiquette. Can I see some hands from teachers if you're at the controls? How many of you have received an email from a student or a teacher or a parent that looked like a text message, where the language was like a text and it wasn't professional? And so we have been working hard on a tool to help students in particular with that. So, Chris, let me have you share the screen and demonstrate. And while I do that, I want you to tell me in the chat right now, do you use Gmail or Outlook through your school system? Gmail or Outlook? Go in the chat and tell us, Gmail or Outlook. It's helpful for us to know. Okay, so the demonstration we're going to show you today is in Gmail, although we have the similar resource for Outlook. But watch it through Gmail. Okay, so this is the experience for students, middle or high school or college. Okay, this is an all ages tool. So Chris is going to hit compose to make a new message like we always done forever and ever. But now something is different. This form jumps up on the screen and it asks the student to fill in boxes to compose the message. So, Chris, let's take them through quickly. Like, what's the email about? We're going to do a poor subject line, like the word help. And then we're going to say, we need to, we're going to address the person. We'll skip that box. We need to address the person properly. And then we need to have a greeting. And this time we're going to use too many exclamation marks. Okay. This is Chris Girardi from the Rubin team. Then we're going to say, well, what's the main point? And these are the standard sections every email should have, no matter what you're writing or who you're writing to. He's saying, I have a question about the algebra assignment due on Tuesday. Then he's going to have supporting information. Stuck on problem number 3. So we're structuring the message the way that it needs to be done, not like a text, but like a formal message with the main point, supporting information, the conclusion. Then what he's going to do very simply is hit review my email. And the words go right into the message. And as soon as they do, the other aspect of our tool kicks into gear. You'll see at the bottom, the Propel icon is blinking. It has some additional soft skills, people skills that it wants the student to review. So we're going to click on the icon on the side, and it brings up a side panel with some additional guidance. And you'll see the email has been transferred to the side panel. And now there are light bulbs around the word. So where it says help, you have a recommendation. It says, you know what, that email, that subject line is too short. We need to use a subject line to summarize the message. So we don't give the student the answer. We give suggestions of what subject lines look like. The student has to rewrite it on their own, but we're guiding them. Or where it says good morning, we forgot to address them with a proper title. We left that out. So we need to include a proper title. And even having too many exclamation marks, we say that's not professional when you have too many. So we are helping the student. We are getting to the cosmetology interview in just a moment. I want to show the group something first, and then we'll jump into the Q&A. So hang tight. So what I just showed you, and you can turn off the screen share, Chris, is what we're about to launch. And what we're interested in is having teachers and some select students help us to test out this tool, to give us their thoughts and feedback as we prepare to share it with educators around the country. We're calling it Propel Early Access. And we're giving anybody in this, any teacher in here, the opportunity to trial that tool in their Gmail or Outlook for free to give us feedback. And I hope that what you saw, you found interesting and would help students. Can I see anything in the chat? Any thoughts in the chat about what you just watched? Do you think that tool would be helpful to guide your students to write more professional messages? So if you're interested in trialing this tool, all you need to do is go to the chat right now, type interested and your email address. Interested and your email address. That's it. And we will be giving out access to, yes, and this is what we'd like is for teachers to trial it and maybe perhaps find a couple of students in their class who can trial it too. So interested in your email address. And what we're going to do in this week, or ideally tomorrow, is just meet with you for just a few minutes so we can set up the trial access program. Just get you situated, let you play around with it on your own time. But if you're interested, tell us right now, and we would love to give it to you. I'll mention it at the very end. Interested in your email address. You can also have access if you're watching on a recording. Just email us with Rubin Early Access. One more thing before we dive into our conversation. Everyone today is going to get a certificate for being part of our Q&A about managing a hair salon, a barbershop, working in cosmetology. So that's what I wanted to mention up front. You can continue to let us know in the chat, and we'll be in touch very shortly to give you the information on trialing tool. So with that, let me bring in our guest, Lauren Taylor. Thank you, Lauren, for making yourself available to us. Let's start. Give us your quick bio about how long you've been in the industry, how long you've had this current business in operation. Tell us a little bit about what you do every day.
I've actually been in the industry for 25 years. I started out when I was 13, just walking to a local hair salon, and I fell in love with it. So my local high school actually had a vocational center. So I did do that. I encourage everyone to do that. I have 5 children of my own, and they will probably be doing the same thing, not necessarily in my field, but it's a really incredible tool that most high schools offer. Because it's free education, it's a trade, it's really, really wonderful. And I didn't have opportunities to go to college. So I really honed in on that. And I did do hair for a little bit. My passion is really not in longer color, things like that. I love my straight razor. I love the barbering styles, the shorter clipper cuts, things like that. During COVID, me and my business partner, we were running another salon, and she had to let go of a lot of people during that time. So we decided to start our own during COVID. We've owned this about 2.5 years now. And we just expanded a year ago into a full service salon. So we have 9 employees now at this time. And wow. We started out just her and I in a suite.
And this is the Instagram, right?
Yep, that's us.
Okay, great. So I want to talk through that. So you're all in now, 9 employees, running a business. As we talk, I want to now invite the teachers and students to please go to the Q&A section along the bottom of Zoom. Start to enter your questions. When you put your question, put your name and your school so we can give you credit. Let's get those questions going for Lauren about any aspect of this, working on hair, running the business, everything in between. So first of all, I want to appreciate the shout out you gave to vocational programs, because you can see there's a lot of vocational programs watching right now, and you are proving out the value of the program and how it helped you get your start. So I appreciate what you saying that is going to mean a lot to the folks who are watching this and working in those programs and teaching. So let's just start by looking at some of these pictures and tell me what they, talk me through a few that stand out to you and how it factors into sort of day by day running the business.
So the little pin that you see at the top left, we actually had a contract with a local professional hockey team.
Ah, the Admirals,
Um,
yes.
so we were just trying to get our start. We were really broke. We didn't have clients, and we faked it to this hockey team, this local professional hockey team. And we were going there. We did not let them know that we were in a suite, and we just were going to them, and they did a lot of promoting and building us up. And we got a really great start just cutting this hockey team's hair for free all the time. Every month we did it for a couple of years. It helped a lot. It was great clout. It's
Yeah.
exhausting, but
So
it
like
helped us expand to where we
the
are.
whole team came in and you cut the whole team's hair every once a month for like 2 years?
Yes, in their dressing room or locker room, essentially, we went down to their arena every single month, took an entire day off of operations, and just cut a professional hockey team's hair.
See, I love that because it just shows at the beginning you have to do what you got to do to get it going, right? And even though, so you said you did it for free, but did it lead to business?
Yes, yes, so
How
much.
so? Like word of mouth? How did it lead? How did doing it for free lead to paid customers?
So we worked out a deal with them, and they came in and filmed a commercial for us that they would later on air on their jumbotron, and they allowed us to set up a table at the arena on select game days, and we would just pass out cards. I mean, we just walked
So
around just
great.
passing out cards, just giving out services, passing out, just talking to people. Like it was almost like cold calling, but just in people's faces constantly, not even just social media stuff, but constantly face to face, like, please let me cut your hair, please.
I think that is so smart. And look, when you start a business, don't have a lot of money, you got to be creative, right? You got to get clever as opposed to just having money to spend on advertising. You did it in a very guerrilla way, and it allowed you to get in just a few years already 9 employees in a very robust business. So I think that is fantastic. I love that example. We already have a lot of questions. Let me just jump into questions from students, okay?
Absolutely.
Let me just, I haven't even, I was listening so intently to that. I want to read, okay, so we have a question here from Nicole Lucas, Athena North Montco Technical Center in Pennsylvania. What are your overhead costs, especially going from 2 employees to 9? So what are your costs that you have to juggle and balance every month?
um I think some of the costs that everybody thinks about is definitely water, electricity, our rent, things like that that we all think about. But there's a lot of hidden costs and trial and tribulations in that we really didn't think about because we weren't educated in that area in a public school setting. So I remember me and my partner about 8 months into everything getting a bill for all of our sales tax on all of the products that we sold, and having to pay a late fee on all of those, and also pay for those sales tax. And it's just things that you just don't learn. Nothing is
Right.
taught for you, but sales tax, you have to pay a tax when you purchase the products. You have to pay a tax when you, at the end of the year, when you don't sell your products. Um, you have, you have to budget for miscellaneous shop fees, like a handyman, for example. So when your toilet just randomly breaks, or when the washer and dryer breaks because you're compacting it with so many towels all day long and running it, you just have maintenance fees constantly on your equipment and things like that. You have to service your hydraulic chairs when they break. You have to, if your computer breaks, you've got to go out and buy a new iPad. And so those are just the miscellaneous costs that come with it. But we all have the rent and the tool fees and power, electricity, those are all pretty typical.
Have you had to learn like a tool like QuickBooks to like do payroll, or like are you doing it yourself? Is there somebody helping you? Like how are you crunching the numbers every month?
So when we were much smaller, me and my partner crunched the numbers ourselves. We had to teach ourselves QuickBooks and do a lot of the accounting ourselves. And we definitely, again, trial and error. Once we got bigger and started expanding more and had more money flowing in, we did hire a CPA.
Okay. And
That
a
is,
CPA is a, for the students, a CPA is a certified public accountant.
so
Put
someone
that in
who
the
just
chat.
manages your money, tells you where to spend your money, where to save your money, all of those things. It is honestly that if you cannot afford a CPA, that is our best money that we spend every single month. Somebody coming in and telling us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. That is your best friend, your best tool. Get you an accountant, get you a CPA.
I want to ask the students, maybe some hands up. How many of you would like to own your own hair salon or barbershop one day? Can I see any hands? Who would like to own one versus working at one? Anybody want to be an owner one day and run their own business? See a few hands. Okay, so let me ask some more questions from the students. And I'll go back to the Instagram for this. Jennifer James Philbrick says, what services do you provide? So when someone walks in, what can they get from you?
So at my barbershop, we do a traditional haircut. We do a straight razor shave. We do beard trims, eyebrow waxing, ear waxing. Men grow unsightly hair in their ears or in their noses, and we wax that with hard wax. That's a really popular service here. So yeah, a lot of very typical. We do some designs in the hair, very basic stuff.
You do some lightning bolts. My son, my
Yeah.
8-year-old, just got that recently.
Yeah, just a little lightning bolts on toddlers. It's fine.
Yep.
But it's mainly just haircuts and beard trims and shaves here.
Okay. Okay. And by the way, I do want to say, because in the promotion to this, we're supposed to have a second guest who does hair. She's done some work for Hulu and Showtime shows, but she had a last minute issue and wasn't able to make it. So I just wanted to say to the group, because we were promoting both, that she's unable to come, but we're so grateful Lauren is able to come, and we'll just do more focus on your business. So, the show rolls on, but I did want to mention that. So, all right, let me go back to the questions. We have several, and I love that because a lot of students are very, very interested here. Question from Nikki Wright. What is the toughest thing for you to do with your own business? What's like one of the biggest challenge? I know you said, the finances were really, really hard. Is it, keeping a good workforce, keeping happy employees? Like, what's the toughest thing if you step back and thought about it?
The toughest part of owning your own business is managing the people and the walls, all of your employees, making sure that everybody's happy all the time, because you want your employees to take care of you so that you can take off a day or you can have a vacation yourself, which doesn't happen as often as you think it would owning a business. You think that I can choose my own hours and I can do whatever I want. It's my business. You're here a lot more, but it's managing people. It's making sure that all these different personalities mesh together and create this family. And with any relationship, you have to pour quality time in to make it flourish. So if you just have work, you're not pumping that full of quality time. So making sure that people, you have downtime together, that's a big part of it. And we do a lot of hair shows. We go annually to a hair show to make sure that we're not working, but we're learning, and we're spending a lot of quality time together to get to know the people in here outside of work.
So let's dive into that a little bit. Let's help students understand. You say a hair show. So give me an example of a hair show, what that looks like, and what your team is doing at a hair show.
So it's typically out of town. So we fly or drive or wherever, depending on where it is in location to us. And you go for 2 days and you learn everything about your field, all the new upcoming tools and tips and tricks and different techniques. There's everything from color to beard trims to extensions. This industry is so broad. Barbering is a very small blip of it. So it's thousands and thousands of people. And you go to a hair show from 9 o'clock in the morning. There's different classes until about 5 at night. And there's an exhibition floor, so you can do a fair amount of shopping for yourself or for your shop. And then at night you get to cut up a little bit and have fun with each other and go to dinners or, just go to the pool. They're usually at nice resort areas. So you just get to have fun. And that's a big part of our field, is having those exhibitions and those conferences.
How many of those shows would you say you go to in a year?
I pay for my staff to do one a year. We also, this past year, we flew a couple people up to Vidal Sassoon, which is a very prestigious certificate that they can get for classes. And that one was in New York. That one was a 2-day class. We sent someone else to Vidal in DC. There's also Vidal in California. So I think we have done 4 different educations this year around the globe.
And
And
that's just like standard, right? If you're going to work in this industry, you have to go to the shows because that's where you're going to learn the newest things or grow the fastest. I mean, could you just do it online, trying to find webinars and seminars, or is there really a difference being there in person?
it's definitely different in person. During COVID, we did a lot of the online webinars and things like that. But in person, it's a whole different feel. You get you do get the camaraderie of it, and you do get to hang out with your coworkers. It's all about the fun. It feels like a little vacation. I like to pay for my stuff to go. That I came from a barber shop before that my boss did these things for me.
Hmm.
So it helps the business, it helps the morale of the shop. And they take care of you. Not every barbershop or salon pays for education, but we are very blessed that this year we were able to do that for ours.
I think that's great to really take students inside the business and what it is to work there. Some more great questions. Leesville Road Middle School, that's down in Raleigh, North Carolina, I believe. What are some skills you look for in an employee?
To be honest, I actually educate as well. I teach people how to cut hair
Okay,
and
that
to
was
shave.
another question. But just to combine it, Tammy Perez said, are you also a school?
I am not a school, but I do have my educator's license. We are registered with our local state board that we can do internships and apprenticeships
Okay,
within
okay.
our salon. And I've had a lot of students under me, but it's not so much the skill that I necessarily look for. I look for work ethic. I don't think that that's something that you can train. Somebody who is a go-getter. I want people to be here 15 minutes early and set up for their day. And I want someone who's got a great attitude. You cannot teach that. Um, these important life morals and skills that will transfer into every aspect of your life. That's what I look for.
Wow.
I look for good human beings. I can teach skill all day long.
I think we hear that from every industry we talk to. They
Really?
say we can teach students what we do here, but you can't teach the work ethic. Let's go deeper into that because that's really the area that our company focuses on is these what they call these employability skills, the work ethic, the integrity. What's another example of work ethic? Showing up 15 minutes early to set your chair. I get that. What are some other examples? Let's get real specific with students. How does work ethic demonstrate itself during the day?
Well, I think that anytime that we go into a job, whether it's working for a multi-million-dollar company, a corporation, McDonald's, fast food industries, wherever we're working, I think we're all given a task of our daily duties and what's to be expected of us. And I think that when I constantly have to remind an employee of their job duties, that to me says that that's not a good employee. I want to have
Yep.
to constantly remind someone. Your teacher doesn't have to constantly tell you how to take notes or how to do a test. I think that those things, we just do those. And so when I have to constantly remind my employees to do something, that really doesn't fly with me.
Yep.
I like a team player. So there are certain things that are done in a salon that are not necessarily part of their everyday tasks, but they're just team player things like
Pitching in.
yeah, the pitching in that just, if you see trash on the floor from a client that accidentally dropped it, like just pick it up. Just silly, simple things like that. Just being a team player.
Where do you see the business going? You're from 2 people to 9. Are you kind of good there? Do you want to grow? Do you want to have a second location? Like what's on the horizon?
I would like to create a product line.
Ah, interesting. Okay, let's talk about that. So what
Um,
kind of products are you interested in making of your own?
I would like to use something that is a little bit more user friendly to, I think, the direction where the world is going. Something not as strong scented, something that is a little bit more natural and organic, and health conscious. I would like to go in that direction, but we've used products for years and years and years. And when you flop around and switch this and switch that, and I don't feel like nobody has an entire line that has everything that you need. So you end up like, picking and choosing from different lines. And I would like to create something that works and is tailored for all of our individual clients.
Ah, so if I'm following you, maybe in a couple of years, few years, you end up at a hair show learning, but also as an exhibitor too, right?
Yes, we would like to do that. We would like to be educators with that product line and
Yeah,
have our own
yeah.
school and things like that.
I play the other side of it too. A question here from Elijah from Hi Brooke, Brooke Bell's class, Patriot High School in Northern Virginia. In a typical work week, how many hours do you or your employees put in? What's the schedule? Like one of your employees, what's a weekly schedule look like?
So as a business owner, I have put in about 70 to 80 hours every week the last 2 years. But my
Okay.
employees, they work 10, 11, 12-hour days, usually 3 days a week. So those 3 days, they try to cram as many clients as they can in. And then they have a nice flexible 4 days off. They usually book their vacations around then, things like that. Meal
Yeah.
prep, workout, things like that, so that they can live a healthy lifestyle too. Nobody really wants to be at work 6 days a week anymore. So it's it's a nice flexible job typically.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask.
holidays,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
holidays do not expect to take off around holidays from November, maybe mid-October to January 1st. It is crunch time in a salon or a barber shop, and you're insanely busy. You're usually working more than those 3 days.
Why do you think that is? What brings people? Because like holiday time, like looking nice for Thanksgiving, Christmas, like what is it about the holidays and hair?
I think it's a lot of that. People want to look nice for their moms. The holiday cards that people do, parties, gatherings, everybody wants to look nice for those. And I think that summer is over and that vacation time is over.
Hmm.
So people are getting back into the everyday grind of life. And so I think that they're just more regimented with the way they look. In the summertime, people just slack off a little bit and are a little bit more
It makes
easygoing.
sense. You come into the
Yeah.
fall and you're like, I need to clean myself up a little bit. I want to ask the students. She said on average, her employees work how many days a week? How many days a
3.
week? No, 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 don't tell me. I want the
Oh,
students to say in the chat. It's like a little quiz, see if they're paying attention. Well,
mm-hmm.
she said it. That's okay. But I want you to write it in the chat for me. How many days a week do her employees work? Someone asked the question, so I'm getting it answered for you. There you go. Three, right? 10, 11 hours. These are long, hard days. You really cram it in, but then you have that time off. How many students would like that schedule? 3 days a week, you go hard. 4 days, you kind of get back. Now, Lauren gave that up a little bit because now she's in charge, so she has to work more than other people, right? But does it feel like the 70 hours? Does it feel like you're building your own thing? So maybe it's not doesn't have the same ring to it. 70 for you might be different from 70 for somebody else. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really nice. It, because it is mine. It's like my baby. I have,
Yeah, yeah.
again, 5 kids at home, but my kids are really involved with this, and I still get to see them. They come into the shop all the time. They are super, super involved, and they get to see their mommy working and building something. And it's not something that I got to do as a child. So I have really, really strong children who have an incredible work ethic in school now because of them seeing me do
Well,
that. So
let's see some hands up for what Lauren's doing. I mean, running her own business, 5 kids. What are the ages of your kids?
5, 9, 10, 12, and 15.
Oh my goodness. You think you have any future hairstylists in the mix, in the brood?
Um, A few of my kids, yes, they are very interested in it. Actually, Virginia just changed the laws, and my oldest daughter can officially start interning or apprenticing under us with the new Virginia laws because
Wow.
she doesn't have time with her school to go to the tech center.
Hmm.
So she will start after school apprenticing and things like that very, very shortly.
I'm getting a lot of questions about compensation, salary. Like, let's just say you work 3 days, you put in 10, 11 hours a day. What is the expected take home pay for 3 hard days like that?
So it really varies on the environment that you're in. We are running a higher end barber shop. Um, so our haircuts are $45. And salons do things differently. Some of them you have booth rent where you pay maybe $200 a week and then the rest of the money is yours. And some of them do commission where you may receive up to 50%. There's not a salon in the world that's going to do more than 50% commission because they're providing all of your overhead costs. There are pros and cons to booth rent versus commission. And um, I think a lot of that, it sounds really good to just pay someone $200 and then take home the rest of your money. But I don't think a lot of people realize that you have to pay taxes on that at the end of the year. You don't have insurance. Your employer covers your insurance. And I don't mean health insurance. With this industry, you have to have insurance in case you cut someone
Yeah.
or damage someone's hair, things like that. So if someone comes back and sues you, your employer, me, I am held liable. I'm the one that's sued, not my employees. I pay for their workman's comp. I pay for um, their taxes, their payroll taxes.
All the little things, right, that you're learning as a business owner and that
Mm-hmm.
employees forget that there's taxes on everything, right? What you take home
Yeah, I
in
have
gross and net. Um,
but I do have an employee that works for me though. She's here 5 days a week and she makes over $100,000 a year.
hey, you heard it from Lauren, right? We all heard that number. That's real money. So she works 5 days a week, right? So she's not, is she working 5 days a week, 10 to 11 hours a day? Is she putting in like 50, 60 hours a week?
Hers is a more standard 9 to 5, so it's an 8 hour day.
And so she chooses to see clients 5 days a week as
Yep.
opposed to having the 4 days off. So she puts in those extra 2 days. Some do 3 days. She does five. She's making $100,000 or more a year. So I think that's really
Yeah, I think that's a
insightful.
common misconception about this being a blue collar field where you're not going to make enough money. I think that it depends on where you're located. I think it depends on your skill set. And if you hone in on this career path there, it can be very, very lucrative for you.
Sure sounds like it. One more question, and then I want to wrap up with a final word, and I'll keep you here. So we have again a lot of students here, middle school, high school, vocational programs. If they're interested in getting involved, and maybe their programs have connections with beauty schools or cosmetology programs, but what would you be a recommendation? Someone's interested, they want to get their hands in the industry. What should they do as a student right now?
I would go to a local hair salon if you're I laws are different depending on state to state. I was able to start at 14 here in Virginia. I'm not sure if it's still the same. Um, but go and offer to shampoo their clients, offer to clean the salon and sweep the salon if they're really interested in it. Starting from the bottom and working your way up is the best thing to do because you respect the industry, you respect the craft. It's how I got my start. I just walked to the local hair salon and I really value every single person in my shop and in my salon because I have been in all of those positions and it's really important.
And it's like, if you're not willing to take out the trash, sweep up the hair, then you're not cut out, right? You got to be
Yeah.
willing to start there. If you want to make the big money, run the business, make your own products one day. It's baby steps up there.
I
Uh,
still do a lot of those things. I come in every single week on my day off and I deep clean my salon myself because nobody does it like you do. It's my baby and I'd rather me do it than hire somebody to do it. And I want my people to know that anything you're doing, I'm doing the
Yep.
same thing.
I think that's really important that they see that and they know that you're in it, you're in the fight with them.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's really important. Hold tight 1 second, Lauren. I want to bring Chris back in, do a quick screen share, just a brief, not a full demonstration, but just that last shot of this tool that we mentioned, because it's again a big part of who we are moving into 2024, Propel. I want to offer one more chance for teachers to request trial access of the tool and just show you again what it is and how it works. Go ahead, Chris. You can just throw it up and just look back at that email that we had. And again, you can run the tool and bring up the sidebar. And again, the tool is looking for people, skills, etiquette. Lauren was just talking about the people skills are critical. She wants to see that more than anything. So I actually would like your opinion, Lauren, on as you see this tool, like before someone sends a real email, catching things like giving the people a proper title, saying good morning, things like that. What do you think about a tool that would catch some mistakes before real emails go out?
I love the idea of that, especially because having a teenage daughter, sometimes she responds to me in some of the newer lingo.
Yeah.
And I actually had people try to apply for a job texting the business phone and with the same lingo. And I think catching it would give a lot more opportunities to people like,
Yes.
hey, hey, are you sure you want to send that? Are you
That's
sure you
right.
want?
It's about
Yeah.
giving opportunity to people and helping them find their way. So, if you're interested, you can close that, Chris. We're good. I'll turn it off for you. Again, if you're interested in trialing this tool for us and giving us some critical feedback right now, go to the chat, type the word interested and your email address. Interested and your email address. We will be in touch to set up a time to give you access to this tool, Gmail or Outlook, so you can explore it. Help us to help other students and yours around the country to communicate with professionalism. We'll wrap up with Lauren and just a final thought from you about, the decision to go into this field, to stay in this field, to fight as hard as you have. Why should students really give cosmetology or barbering, hair salon? Why should they give this field a real hard look?
You get to be creative, and when the economy is bad, people still need trade jobs. People still are coming to their barber, to their hairstylist. People always want to feel good, and there's not a lot of jobs where you get to interact with people. And I think that people still need a human connection, and this is one of the very last forms where we're having that. And so it's a really beautiful thing that we
That
still get to
is.
interact with people face to face, hands on,
That's true.
and it makes
It's
you
a
feel
very
good.
intimate, it's an intimate thing, and they always leave feeling good, or you hope they do, right? And so you send them
And
out happier
it's
than
a
when they walked in.
worldwide language.
It is. It is. I love that.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lauren, for being here, sharing your story. You are awesome. You are a warrior, and I'm very impressed at what you're doing with your team and
Thank you.
managing your family. And it's only 24 hours in the day, but some people know how to use those 24 hours differently. That's basically
Yes.
how it works. Thank you, Jen, for your sign language. Thank you all for being here with all your questions. We'll have another Dream Job series webinar in 2 weeks. We're going to talk to a healthcare administrator. We jump around, Lauren. We talk to all kinds of vocational pathways. Health science is a big one. We talk to a lot of people in the medical profession. Now we're talking to someone who runs a healthcare facility. And we're talking to a gentleman who runs a nursing home in Miami, Florida. What it's like to be a healthcare administrator. So lots of different ways to be involved in any field. And that'll be October 11th. So we'll see you all then. Thank you again, Lauren. We'll let you get back to your busy day. Appreciate it. And we look forward to talking to
Okay.
all of
Nice to
you.
meet you all.
Thank you. Talk to everybody later this fall. Have a great afternoon.